Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and in today's video let's fly the Antonov 225 from London Stansted towards Rome Fiumicino Airport. Standing here on the cargo ramp at Stansted Airport, and our lovely Antonov 225 has been loaded up already with an industrial boiler with a weight of about 140 tons that we're going to transport towards Rome. Now, why don't you join me boarding the 225, and then we are going to start preparing our aircraft and fly it over to Italy. Alright, welcome aboard, and it's time to quickly inspect the cargo, make sure that everything is loaded as it should be. For example, I'm missing all of the nets and all the linings that you would use to secure the cargo over here, but that's just a very quick note I came across. I'm wondering, by the way, why they didn't do or simulate that, because we've got all the details of the lining on the walls of the plane, so why not include a little bit of stuff to secure the cargo in the plane with a future update as well. In any case, let's now move into the direction of the cockpit, and we are going to make our way towards our destination. Now, it's been a little while since I've flown the Antonov for the last time, and this is pretty much my first flight with it in like half a year or so. So bear with me for catching up on the plane just on the go. I do find these kind of videos where you actively explore the plane while you're flying it a lot more interesting though than all of those, oh, I've perfected my stuff already and I'm pretending to be the perfect pilot stuff that you find a lot on YouTube, so for that reason I'm just taking it straight from here. Okay then, so we are going to close all the latches later on, so welcome to the cockpit of the 225. Now, since we've flown it the last time, an update has been released, and that actually includes a proper English-speaking cockpit now. Previously, we still had a lot of Cyrillic on here, but now we've actually got pretty much everything in English language. Obviously, that is not true to the real airplane. The real one was in Cyrillic, but I am happy with that, and I'm happy that I can actually read something on my airplane now. Okay, cool. So, with all of that said and done, our cockpit station is pretty much prepared. The only thing we still need to do is to uplift a little bit of fuel, I believe. Having a quick look into that, let's see, what's the current fuel weight? 156.5. Yeah, that's a little bit too much for the flight. We are actually looking for something in the region of approximately, what do they say over here, like 60 tons of fuel that we should be carrying on today's flight. So let's go ahead and refuel the plane real quick. I don't believe we can actually do this in the menu over here, so I'll just quickly run over here. Okay, give me kilogram, and you can give me 60 tons, so that's 30 per side. Alright, like so. 60 tons, that sounds like so much. In the A330 we fly 10 hours on that, but in the 225, well, not so much. Okay then, anyway, I suppose we get right back to the back of the cabin. So that's all been updated, and we are now here with a total weight of 296.9 plus our airframe weight, so you name it, 411.2 tons. That's what I call an airplane. Okay, cool. So with all of that analyzed, how about we go back to the flight engineer station and start setting up our airplane. So that's all 5 batteries turned on. External power is not connected to the airplane today, I believe. Let's have a quick look. Well, there actually is an external power unit down there. Okay, perfect. Then we can go ahead and use that as well. Okay, here we go. External power is connected. However, we are still going to start the APU, so I just gotta reach over here for a second. Okay, so APU 1 and 2 start. APU fuel heaters on both sides going on. Okay, then APU fire loops on, Then APU master switch on both sides going on. And finally APU starters 1 and 2. So let's see if the thing is going to start up. It's been a little while, as I mentioned. But here we go. Both APUs are starting. Perfect. Okay then, once the APUs are running, we can turn the bleeds on. I just turned them on earlier already, but that should be totally fine. And when they are running, we'll turn the APU generators on as well. Just look at how long it actually takes for the APUs to start up there, because they are so incredibly big on this airplane, just because they have so much to power. So this is actually going to take a little while. Okay, anyway, while the APUs are starting up, let's quickly move over back to the aft part of the cockpit. And over here we can prepare the APU generators. Okay, looks like left is on and the right one is on as well. Perfect. So they were left in the on position by the last crew, just to have that in mind over here. Okay then, rectifiers 1 through 4. 2, 3, 4. And then we can turn on the transformer rectifiers as well. Just like the onboard generators. Okay, and actually I need to correct myself. We need to keep the generators offline for now. We are going to run this on the APU. Okay, cool. So, then we can move over to the navigators panel, and up here we've got a little bit of a job to do. So, how about we start right up here? That's all the switches turned on. Perfect. So, that's pretty much the navigators panel all turned on. So now we can move up to the captain's overhead panel, and up here we are basically once again going to switch on everything. And the same on the FO's panel. And all of a sudden the plane starts coming alight. Also we'll switch on the nav lights. And with that we are pretty much good to go. So, a little bit of setup over here. We are going to start with a transponder, Squawk 2000, which is just about a default squawk up there. TCAS into the above mode. And, well, we aren't going to start the pushback yet, so we'll leave it off for now. Okay, apart from that, our radios, number 1 is going to be 122.8, number 2, 121.5. Where is number 2 actually? Oh, up here. No, that's... Wait a moment, where's my number 2 radio? Do I not have it on the overhead? That's surprising, but doesn't matter. Then we are going to use it from the navigator station, where there should be the second radio over here. Okay, that's 1 to 1.5. So, very quick look into the overhead up here, see if I forgot anything, but it looks like everything is pretty much covered over here. Alright, perfect. So, then let's go ahead with the flight engineer station setup. Just looks so incredible when you look at these gauges and they're almost empty, while you loaded 60 tons of fuel in that airplane. I mean, yeah, the Soviets definitely knew what they were doing when they built this. Okay then, very quick setup of all the knobs over here. The upper row is out, the second row is on, and then over here this is all set, all off, all on. This one's supposed to be out, and that is set correctly down there. And then on the right side this one's supposed to be out as well, and this is set correctly. Very good. Then the engine hydraulic pump switches, they are all up here, so on guard and off on all of them, like so. And with that, the fuel and hydraulic is completed. The EFB has been set up already. And then we can go ahead and close our doors as we're about to get ready to prepare the airplane for departure. And you can see me moving all around the cockpit all the time. So that just about shows you how much work goes into flying this, and that this is simply a teamwork flying this airplane. You just can't fly this alone. Now, we could just cheat and load flight plan from GPS, however that's a little bit cheeky if you ask me, so we are going to program the GPS manually, but we are going to wait until the engines are starting before we do any of that, because, well, you name it. Okay, cool, so that's gonna fill out later on, that is fine, we have removed all the loads. Well then, let's go ahead and call GSX, prepare for pushback and departure, and we can take handling by shitport. Okay, very good. So we'll do the setup while our engines are starting up, so for that reason, let's go ahead and run the before start procedures. So, beacon light is coming on. Hi there, please confirm all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed and bypass pin is installed. I just love it looking at the guidance system down here, because this actually shows us a lot of the information that we'd need on, or that we'd get on the real one. So we've got like our runway, our SID and stuff like that on here. So that's really quite handy to have. Okay then, let's move to the engineer's station, and we are going to prepare the airplane up there. The beacon light is turned on already, so as soon as GSX is ready, we can start as well. So, starting panel is open, all the starters are rich, which they all are. Okay then, mixture ratio switches, on guard and on. That's up here and they're all on. Okay, cool. So we should be pretty much good to go. And all we need now, quick hydraulic check. Oh boy. Okay, so facing north on the center line, please. Okay, cool. So, very quick check on the hydraulic system here, switching that on both sides. Okay, so we can put that back off, and now comes the cool moment. So, brakes are released. Clear to push. Thank you very much. Okay, cool. Then let's go ahead and commence our engine start. FedEx switches are on. So, fuel heat switches are in the upper position. Well, that is interesting. All right. So, are you ready? Then, I suppose we're going to go ahead with the engine start. So, engine auto start button press. And, come on GSX menu. Okay, I'm missing some sort of a feedback down here. Which button did I forget? Surely that's gotta be that auto start button. I got a little bit confused when I switched the cockpit from Cyrillic to English. Oh, is that the pushback complete already? Oh, no comment on that. Thank you very much, GSX. Thank you very much. In any case, parking brake is set. Okay, well, you know what? If you can't find a button for whatever reason, then let's do a very quick cheat. We'll just go for the checklist over here, and then we've got the auto engine start. Okay, where's that auto start button? Oh, okay. Cool. Here we go. Now the engines are starting. Okay, perfect. And while that is going on, we can start preparing our GPS for our flight. Okay, acquiring satellites. Let's quickly check what the engines are doing over here. Starting up, very good. Alright, should have satellites available in a moment. Okay, thanks, you're clear. Disconnect. See you with a cleared signal on the left side of the plane, and have a good day. So, Echo, Golf, Shitty, Stansted. Where is it? Here it is. Alright, procedure, departure, Nakbo 1 Romeo. Romeo 22, load that up, thank you. Alright, now comes the little bit time-consuming task of feeding in all those hundreds of waypoints manually that you have when you're flying over Europe. But don't worry, we can help ourselves out with that. We are just about going to use this, which is the keyboard input, and then we have Silva. Yes. In the United Kingdom, please. Next up, we are going for Cowley. And then Tefzi. The good thing with this is, why did it insert Tefzi at the... Oh boy. Remove that, please. So, Nakbo, Silva, Cowley, Tefzi, please. Okay, after that comes Vapids. Followed by Midhurst. Mike India Delta. And then Bogna. That sounds French already, isn't it? But still in United Kingdom, okay. Fine for me. And then Benbow. From there we proceed towards Hawkey. And then Xamap. Voli. Now that sounds French. And it is. Surprise. Okay, so Voli and then Inpax. And according to the flight plan, our top of climb is just after Inpax. So I'm just about going to insert the next waypoint, Resmi. And then I'll just leave it over here, because that should cover pretty much everything for our departure. Very quick check here. We still got 2 more engines to start, so we can continue with another couple of waypoints, or we can just let those waypoints be waypoints for now, and instead continue with our setup of the rest of the departure, because we still got a little bit to set up there. Okay, so Nakbo 1 Romeo departure. And that is actually a departure that can be flown conventionally, so let's go ahead and do the conventional departure setup as well. Initially we'll follow the localizer, so that's going to be a 110.5. And we'll fly that until 3.1 dm from the localizer, and then it's going to be a right-hand turn in mounted barkway, 16.25. So that's 16.25. And in terms of the courses that we've got associated with them, initially it's going to be the runway track 223. Like so, and thereafter it's going to be 349 inbound to Barkway, so let's pre-select that as well. Okay. Nice, then we can go for VOR1 over here. So that's a course 222. And the distance in kilometers, so let's go ahead and go to the converter. So distance converter, well, I would be looking for nautical miles, thank you, but we can do that anyway. Speed limit on the initial turn is not officially given. However, in order not to get too quickly, let's do 200 knots. So that is 370 kilometers per hour. So we can go ahead and enter that at first. Okay, 370. Working on it. Here we go, 370, and our initial climb is 4,000 feet, so let's go for 4,000. And that's 1,200 meters. Okay, no, I'm not going to turn this in once. Let's quickly switch that over. So, in hundreds, please. Okay, very good. So, we take 1,200 meters as our initial climb. Alright. We'll start with heading 1, and then we are pretty much set up, are we? What else can we do? Well, not a lot, to be honest, so I'd say we're about ready to go. Are we? Okay, cool. Then let's go ahead and continue with our procedure. Let's go back to the engineer station back here, like so, and then we can switch on the hydraulic pumps. And make sure that all the systems are working, which they are. Perfect. Okay, cool. So start panel, select close. And then we continue on the electrical panel, generators coming on. All 4 of them, all of them have voltage, very good. That's the engine start procedure complete, so let's continue with the after start procedure on the APU panel. Okay, so APUs are shutting down and they are running down nicely. Normally you're supposed to turn the fire loops off only when the APUs are actually shut down. Now, I am going to expedite that a little bit. Okay, cool. So, onto the captain's panel. Select flaps 2. And that's flaps 2 right up there. Drown spoilers, arm. Well, that is off, so arm position is just about over here. Then thrust reverser select up. That is what I wanted, not those flaps. Okay, thrust reversers up. And then we can do a flight control track. So that's our flight controls right down here. Full up, full down, neutral. Full left, full right, neutral. And the rudders, full left, full right, neutral. Okay, perfect. So that is our flight control check complete. And then rudder and aileron trims are checked to be in neutral. And the nose wheel steering switches are both on. Alright, ready to go. So let's turn on a couple of lights. And then we can go taxi. Brakes are off. Lovely how the plane is taxiing on idle thrust already with a weight of 400 tons. But I suppose with a maximum takeoff weight of over 600 tons, 630 I believe, it is not that surprising that the plane is moving already. So now comes the big challenge of actually controlling that plane correctly, because it is such a long aircraft that it really takes something to not accidentally run the main gears into the grass. So we're gonna make a right on Juliet, left Alpha, and then all the way to the holding point. Okay, let's start taking the turns, see how that goes. It still needs quite a bit of thrust there in the turns. But if we check from the outside, that is actually a fine turn over here. Unbelievable, those long aircraft. I thought the A330 was long, but this just beats it. Easily. Okay, here we go. So how big are those wings? Yeah, they do fit over here, but probably not up there anymore. So we'll make a left turn over here, and then bring it all the way to the gates. So the brakes are really weak on the 225, at least for my taste they are. So it is quite a challenge to control the speed correctly while we are taxiing on such a confined area as the apron here in Stansted. But this looks alright now. Okay, that's alright. Then we can start the right-hand turn, slowly but steadily. Make sure that we don't run too fast, because we're still sitting so high that makes it difficult to judge the actual ground speed at which we are going. Okay, looks good. So we're going all the way up there to the holding points for a full-length runway 22 departure. Alright, next up is the procedure for entering the runway already. And, well, what can I say? On that, we are initially going to turn on the strobe lights, and then going to conduct a 2-minute run-up on the runway. So during that 2-minute run-up, we can then go ahead and do our departure briefing and the last couple of calculations we need to do. I'm probably speeding. Let's see it from the outside. Yeah, going pretty quick there. The size of the plane and the height at which we are sitting here above the runway can really be... It can fool you into believing you're going much too slow. Okay, here we are. We're going to take Romeo, because taking Sierra is just, you know, bringing it across that corner over there. I can't really be bothered to do that. I'd much rather take it easy and go over here via Romeo, because at the end we end up in the same position. The challenge on those turns is to use sufficient thrust to keep it rolling, but then to reduce it early enough that you don't start shooting away when you're at high weights. Okay, so on. Lights are on, time to line up, and transponder can go on as well. See, that's what I meant with getting quite quick. Okay, I overturned it a little bit, but that's nothing to worry about. So, brakes are set. Then, engines 1 through 6 set 70%. So we can just do that straight down here. 70% selected. Thrust lever lock set on. Not going to touch this one. Okay, warm-up time. Wait for 2 minutes. If we have a look at the clock, then that is down here. So we wait until we've got the 30 mark over there once again. Okay, in the meantime. Let's quickly revise our departure procedure. So we're going to climb on the runway track until 3.1 DME. Now 3.1 DME, if we have a look into the converter, if we convert this into nautical, from nautical miles into kilometers, because that is what the airplane is running on, basically we can do knots to kilometers an hour, that works. So if we are looking for 3,100, then we're looking at 5.7 kilometers, basically. So at 5.7 kilometers, we are going to start our right-hand turn onto the bearing inbound to Barkway, which we have pre-selected on the number 2, down here. Might have to be doing a little bit of switching there, but if we do this, you can see it straight away sets us up. So that's about as easy as it gets. Once we're actually established on the inbound to Barkway, we're going to pre-select the outbound from the chart, and that is going to be it then. Okay, cool. So with that, I would say we are approaching the 2-minute interval. We've got 35 seconds to go. Okay then, set flaps full. It's amazing that you always take off with full flaps, isn't it? But that's how it works in the 225. Okay, so DME display bus is on and the window heat is now on as well. Okay, perfect. All the lights are on, and with that we are ready to go. "30 seconds passed. Brakes off, set takeoff thrust. Thrust set. 150. V1, rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Pretty good rate of climb over here. I'm going to keep the speed slow. I'll keep the 300 kilometers an hour for now. So 2 kilometers out, and yes, I know that I could simply cheat using my DME in nautical miles on the side over here. But that would be cheating, wouldn't it? Okay, we're going to level off at 4,000 feet, so that's 1,000 to go. Then we can start our first notch of flap retraction, flaps 25. Going up to 370 kilometers an hour. And flaps 15, and we're going to maintain that. So let's pull off a little bit of speed. Level off nicely. And with 3.1 starting the turn. Man, we need pretty little power. I didn't expect that. But the turn looks good. Looks like we're ending up straight on the radial where we want to be. Get it up to 4,000, please. Oh man, that trim is a little bit messed over. But now I remember it. Okay, so 4,370 kilometers an hour. Let's accelerate all the way to 250 knots. That equals 450 kilometers an hour. And then we can retract those flaps as well. Okay, we're gonna make it a slow acceleration. Okay, flaps 2. Trimming this out is actually quite difficult, to be honest. Okay, 2 miles prior to the station, we start our left-hand turn. Flap 0. And then we can go ahead, 1625 on radio number 1. Here we go, like so. Don't climb away. The trim is so incredibly sensitive in this, it is pretty hard to trim it out completely. So, left turn 257 outbound. Let's go ahead and start that now. Okay, that's 257 on the track there. Then let's resume 4,000 feet. And we can quickly pre-select 257. Like so. And VR1 active. Okay, continue the climb then. We're now looking for basically cruising level. So let's initially go 3,000 meters. Okay, set power. We can use reduced thrust for the climb, like 110 or so, but it's not really going to make too much of a difference there, to be honest. That trim, however, does. Okay, so let's see what our GPS says. This is a little bit nasty now, flying single pilot. So don't give me too much thrust, please. And here we go, that's better. Okay, Nakpo towards Silver, 232 track, 30 nautical miles. So that's pretty much what we have over here. And over... which one is it? Yeah, that should be it, I believe. So it should be a 232 track. The only problem is the airplane doesn't automatically tune it on the HSI as far as I remember, so let's do it like this. We'll simply establish ourselves on that track, 232, and then we'll get the automation in. Is that it? No, that's it. Okay, so continue the climb. Reverses can go, by the way, but don't overdo it with the climb, please. That's better. Okay, so now that all our navigational tasks are done, that looks good, yep. Now comes the exciting task of getting that Antonov autopilot to work. Okay, so engaging the autopilot should be quite simple. Turn it to navigation. ER basically is more or less engage. And if we now go to the max button as far as I remember. No, we go to VEL. That's the one. So VEL, the thing maintains the airspeed on the climb. So that means we can also go ahead and increase power to maximum once again. Okay, that is done. Let's go ahead and select the direct to Silva once again. Okay, so track 269 apparently. Okay, didn't expect it to be that bad, but now it's actually preset the navigation as well. So now we press the PC button, and that basically enables lateral navigation when the navigation selector is set to Navic. Okay, last thing over here, select altimeter standard 1013, and we can quickly convert that. Is 759.8, so basically 760 millimeters. Okay, perfect. So now we're navigating, now we're flying, and that is basically all we need to do. From here on, things are going to get a little bit simpler. So power, we can take 112. Let's do that. Here we go, 112 climb power selected. And with that, our climb procedure is complete, and we can climb all the way up to cruising level. So for the cruise, we're looking at 35,000 feet. So let's go ahead and type that in. 35,000 means 10,700 meters, basically. Okay, that's 10,700 meters selected, and with that we are flying. For the speed, I am going to maintain present speed for most of the climb until we reach Mach 0.74, and then we'll convert onto the Mach number. That way we are going to have a pretty smoothed out climb. I know it's hard to believe for a lot of people that an airplane of this size actually takes such a low climb speed of just 250 knots, but that's actually how it's done. So we'll just maintain the 250 knots until we reach our climb Mach number, and that is all we need to do. Okay then, sounds very good. We are flying, we are in the air, we are nicely building up our speed. Always nice seeing the difference here. Indicated airspeed 470 kilometers an hour. But then you look at the true airspeed and you're already doing 640. Okay, so it looks very good. We are on the way, and that is basically all we need. So, with that said, we can now go ahead and program the rest of our route, and when that is done, we can let the airplane fly itself towards our destination. Okay, so let's go down here once more and start a bit of programming. What's the message saying down here? Approaching VNAV profile? Yeah, not really. But that's just because I haven't set it up completely yet. So let's go ahead with that setup now. And once we are safely at cruising level, then things are going to settle down a little bit, and we'll start going to a little bit of afterburner to shorten down the flight time for you. But for now, time to program the rest of our route real quick. So we've got Odebo, then Ogulo. After that comes Okazi. Sometimes I don't understand how the GPS is messing up those waypoints when I'm typing a little bit too quickly. So you really need to type slow like I am doing just about here in order to get the GPS track correct. Or in order to get your waypoints incorrect. Okay, San, Moulin, Madif. So you might be wondering, what did I base my decision which waypoints to program upon? Well, basically I wanted everything into the next FIR border and to the next top of climb, so that we basically, in case something goes wrong during the climb, we could take the time in order to manually fly the airplane, or in order to basically just have capacity and time to intervene with whatever might come at us, whatever might happen. And, well, for that reason, next FIR border, in case we get a direct, so that we have it in already. And then the and then after the next FIR border, basically we're looking for the top of climb, and that is my two big things that I want covered before I'm happy to accept the GPS like that. Obviously, in any modern days airliner with an FMS, you wouldn't do it. You would program the route completely. Not only because it is going to save you a little bit of danger, because the FMC can do its fuel calculation and stuff, so you're basically saving a little bit of, or rather you're reducing a risk of doing errors with the fuel calculation and stuff, and on the other hand side you are obviously going to have all the predictions and everything available. Okay, so that's our route programmed. Let's quickly see if we can zoom out a little bit to cross-check that everything's been entered correctly. That does look quite good to me. So let's go ahead, take a little shortcut. And what do we have over here? I would say direct to Midhurst sounds very good to me. Mike India Delta, direct to. Enter, activate, yes, thanks. So last thing for us to do, select the arrival and the approach. And we are planned for the LCAP 3 Papa arrival at Fiumicino for runway 16 left. So let's go ahead and program that. Oh, why is it giving me an arrival at Stansted? No, we don't want that. We want to arrive at Fiumicino. That looks a lot better. So, LCAP 3 Papa, 1216 left. Yeah, well, that is quite a straight in, but why not? Leading us to Tango Alpha Quebec, and then we'll hopefully have a transition available from there. Approach, gonna be the ILS Whiskey 16 left. From Tango Alpha Quebec. Okay, that looks good. That's pretty much what we wanted. So, very quick check through all the waypoints in here. LCAP Quebec, Tango Alpha Quebec. Yep, that looks about perfect. Alright, very good. Then, let's do a basic VNAV setup. So we're looking for 3,000 feet at Auxerre initially, just to get a little conservative on the planning. So 3,000. You can give me that 1 mile before. Auxerre. And that is just an initial plan over here. So vertical speed, give me 2,500. Like so. Begin descent in 2 hours. Perfect. The actual flight isn't going to be that long, but our speed is going to increase as we climb, so we don't have to worry about that. Alright, looks very good to me. So, with that, we are all set up, we are en route, and that is really all that we can do for our departure. So, from here, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight, and if there is any change, anything new, then I'm going to update you. Apart from that, I'll just speed things up a little bit so that things don't get too boring for you guys. We are slowly nearing our top of descent, which we'll reach in about 6 minutes time. So it is about time for us to start looking into our arrival. So here is what we've planned. We've got the LCAP 3 Papa arrival towards Tarquinia. Oh boy, Italian. Towards Tarquinia VR. Couple speed restrictions on there, nothing on the altitude. So we can plan our straight in arrival just like we have done, and from there we'll fly the ILS Whiskey approach to runway 16 left over at Fiumicino Airport. So, all of that is pretty much set up already. Over at Auxerre, I've planned an altitude of 3000 with 3 miles to run after that. That should be more than sufficient to slow the airplane down. Minimum 275 feet on the Red Owl, respective 289. Or I should correct that to the category Delta minimum, so 300 feet is our minimum. And in case I go around, we're going to proceed on the 159 degree runway heading, climb to 4,450 knot before threshold, turn left max 200 knots, intercept follow radial 172 Campagnano, maintain 2,000 until 15 dm, and then climb to 3,000 and then a 4,000. Okay, so that is what we have planned, and now we can proceed with the nav setup for that approach. So let's quickly move back to the navigator station. Over here for the courses we'll need 159 on the number 1, which is going to be our approach course. And then on the number 2 I'm going to select the... On the number 2 I'm going to select 352 for our missed approach, so that we are covered in case we have to. Okay, then 108.1. Here we go, 108.1 is the ILS frequency, and then Campagnano is 11.4. Let's tune that as well. Here we go. Okay, perfect. So, that is about what we need. And we'll certainly take it in nautical miles if we can. And that is about it. Okay, what might be helpful as well is to tune Ostia VOR just to give us a general distance to the airport, 14.9. And I think I'm going to tune that initially on the number 2 side. just so that we've got an idea on our distance until we are close enough that we can actually use the ILS. Okay, so that is pretty much what we need for this one. Now the interesting question is, where are we going to park the airplane? Now, you can see the apron over here in Fiumicino isn't that big, but I do believe we've got to go somewhere down here. But let's grab a parking stand chart and see if we can find any help on that. So here it is, the parking stands, and looking down at this, well, certainly a plane could fit on here, I believe, but finding some cargo on here actually isn't that easy. And to be honest, I mostly saw cargo aircraft over at Ciampino Airport and not at Fiumicino, but let's say we're going to go somewhere down here close to Terminal 5. That's probably going to be our best choice. Alright, so that is our approach preparation pretty much completed, and I do believe that's all we'll need for this. Apart from that, the pressurization and stuff like that, the airplane is going to do all on its own, so we should be good to go for our approach with all of this set up. Alright, so with all of that done, I see you all again when we are on our descent into Fiumicino and when we actually start our approach. We're approaching 10,000 feet. Our speed is nicely reduced already, but let's quickly confirm. 250 knots should be about 470 kilometers an hour if I'm not mistaken. Indeed, 463, so let's just reduce thrust a tiny bit more. 463 is our new target, but as you can see, we are doing just a tiny bit more here in order to reach our descent. Okay, so apart from that, the lights are turned on and we have already identified the VOR. We are receiving the localizer signal already, so we can switch our VOR number 2 back to 11.4 for our missed approach. And apart from that, we have identified our ILS up here as well already. Good, so that looks very good for us to start our approach. And with that, we can now select our altitude down, look for 2,500 feet, and that should resemble something in the region of about 600 meters, but let's be sure. This calculator here is really handy, by the way. Okay, 762 meters. So let's dial in 800, that should be all we need. Okay, now we are slowly getting a little bit high on profile, but that doesn't matter because our profile was calculated a little conservative already. Doing some basic mathematics, 19 miles to run, just about 7,000 feet, so we need a tiny bit stronger rate of descent. Shouldn't be much a problem, so we're simply going to pull a little bit of speed brake here. And you can see how the speed immediately starts coming back. I'll take the speed a little further back, about 220 knots. I'll make it 370 kilometers an hour. That should be a good speed for us to fly. Like so. In the meantime, let's switch over to the localizer. Currently above the glide slope, that is expected. Okay, horizontal navigation is armed. The vertical not yet, because I want to get a little bit closer to the glide slope before I go ahead and do that. Alright, so that looks pretty good for now. So, flaps 2. And at 416 we are going to go flaps 15. Like now, flaps 15. Speed is coming back slowly. I'm not overdoing anything. The glide slope is coming alive. So that looks like quite a good approach to me. Okay, let's arm the approach mode. That is going to arm the glide slope capture as well. Okay then, flaps 25. With that we can reduce our speed to 370. Okay, localizer captured. Then we can slowly dial into the glide slope. Okay, so glide slope is coming alive now. Let's see if it captures. Does it? Does it not? No, it doesn't. Okay. Or does it? No one knows. Okay, that looks alright to me. Then let's go ahead and reduce our speed towards our final landing speed. Gear down. That's an interesting way to capture a glide slope, that's for sure. So 2000 feet is our initial missed approach altitude, so that is about 600 meters. We've got to be careful with that. And then we're just about waiting for the plane to capture the glide slope properly. Here we go, on glide slope is announced. Okay, autopilot off, let's do the rest ourselves. Flaps 30. Or 35 much rather. And with that we are now nicely established on the ILS. Trimming it out again is a little bit of a pain here. Not being able to understand the Ukrainian radio altimeter callouts is a little bit more of a hassle even. But then again, we are getting it down, and I'm sure we'll get it down nicely as well. Okay, auto thrust off. Let's bring it back into the glide slope. Okay, it doesn't look perfect, but it looks alright. Even though, interestingly enough, with just half a dot glide slope deflection, we are getting 4 reds on the puppies, and it does look rather low if I'm honest. But according to the instruments we can continue, so we are going to do just that. I mean, that glide slope is a mess, is it? Looks like I'm touching down right at the beginning of the runway. Let's correct that. Okay, that looks better. Okay, we're on the ground. Oh man, that's quite some drift. Okay, spoiler reverse. Okay, we'll take the next exit. Be sure to slow this down early. That was full manual braking you just witnessed. But we are slowly vacating. Nice. Okay, well, so that was it. The first landing in the Antonov since quite a while. And looking in the Sim Toolkit Pro, I can't quite believe my eyes. It tells me it did 59 feet a minute. I can't believe it. That was a bit more positive, was it? Even though in a plane as large as this, it's quite difficult to judge how positive your landing actually was. But that doesn't matter, we made it down to the ground, the plane is still in one piece, and as they say, a good landing is one that you can walk away from, a very good one is one where you can use the plane again, so I do tend to say we did a very good landing today. Okay, perfect, so let's go ahead and do a little bit of the after landing stuff over here. Retract those lights, don't think we need those anymore. Then we basically continue straight ahead via the standard 1 routing. Let's check from the outside, how well am I taxiing? Bang on, perfect. That's what we want to see. Okay, just gotta find a point in time where we are going straight for a while so that we can actually run the entirety of the after landing procedures. This one here looks a bit like a cargo apron, even though I have some doubts that we're actually going to fit onto it. Or do we? You know what? I think we do fit on this. Even though I will probably be proven wrong in a few moments when I actually turn onto it, but let's take the risk, huh? That's the beauty of Flight Simulator. If you mess it up, you can simply do it again. Okay, so lights off, window heat off, DME bus, select off. On here. Reverser stowed, so flaps and slats, going back to 0. Like that, and then APU. Okay, start up the APU. And that is it. Okay. Is it starting? Yes, it is. Good. Cool, then we can continue our taxi. And we are going to take the stance on the left here. Now, if you know the airport better than I do, then do tell me if I'm doing total nonsense right now, or if that parking is actually adequate. I do have a feeling if I'm going straight here in the middle, then I might be blocking the entirety of the apron, but at least I have a feeling our plane does fit onto it, and this one does look like a cargo apron to me. So that is my primary objectives certainly fulfilled. Okay, parking brake set, lights going off. And then now comes the long way of shutting down the AN225. So we're going to start with the navigator's panel. Alright, that's all off. Engine wing anti-ice. are selected off. Hydraulic pumps 1 through 6. Are all off. So then let's go at fuel pumps. Oh, and these should have stayed on, my mistake. Okay, that's the fuel pump set. Then let's check on the APU status. It's running very good. So APU bleed can come on, and most importantly APU generators are on. Cool. Then engine generators off, and then engine start panel we can select the fuel switches off. Come on. Here we go. Interesting that you can select them off while they are still guarded. I wonder if that's supposed to be the case. Especially when the manual explicitly tells you to unguard and select all fuel switches to off. But anyway, the engines are going off, so let's go ahead and turn off the buses. Alright, that's the buses off, nav light off, beacon off, and then we can switch off the power on the electrical panel. So that's going to be the rectifiers off, and the transformer rectifiers off. And in terms of the power, we can simply switch out the batteries, and that should be it. Alright, so that's it. Thank you very much for flying along, everyone. I do hope you enjoyed this one. We didn't see the Antonov in quite a while, and while I am totally honest that things felt very new to me, it really didn't feel like I flew it in the past. But nonetheless, I do hope you enjoyed flying this one. If you did, do let me know in the comments below if you want me to get out some of the, let's call them, older aircraft in the simulator over the next couple of weeks or months, then do let me know. And in the meantime, I would like to thank you very much for watching. Looking forward to your feedback. If you liked the video, do leave a like on YouTube as well, as it does help with the algorithms. And finally, if you're up for more, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm very much looking forward to see you all again in the future.